Hi, Tania. I'm so
Hello.
glad that you're here. So, thank you for finally making it. We planned it
Oh,
for quite a while. So, yeah, finally.
like a very long time. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. So, first of
Mhm,
all, just tell me about a little bit about yourself. Introduce your
mhm.
blog for me.
Okay, so my name is Tania. I am an entrepreneur, mom of three, and married.
Okay.
And I'm a tech entrepreneur. I do have a fashion brand as well, and also I'm passionate about all things Africa empowerment, especially in my field, which is finance. So I'm like keen on conversations towards anything to do with financial inclusion and all of that, especially for African women. And on top of that, yes, I'm a mom of two boys and a girl.
Yes,
Yeah, they keep me very busy.
I can
and
imagine.
yes, and I'm married, and I work with my husband. We partner in our business venture together, as running a tech company. But what brings me here? It's more of my passion project, which
Yeah.
is Kongo Travels. It's just an outlet for me to, share my journey as a keen traveler on both on the African continent and the world. Yeah. So
Okay,
that's
no, great introduction. Like I've got everything. Yeah, so now talking about your blog, just tell me how did the idea of creating a blog came about, a travel blog came about, and especially what's your first travel memory? How did this travel passion came about?
for me, honestly, the earliest memories I can think of were in my childhood. Both my parents were both professionals and very career
Yeah.
driven.
Mm-hmm.
So they would travel for work and other opportunities or study, and
Mm-hmm.
we will stay with cousins or uncles, aunts at home,
Yeah,
and they would come back with like postcards and
exactly.
gifts, tell us all sorts of stories about those amazing places that they have been to. So that's always like sparked, I guess, my curiosity. Really, if
Exactly, yeah.
really pin it down, it was really that early. I was obviously I was fortunate enough to travel as a child as well, with my parents on a holiday in a few countries, including South Africa, where I ended up staying and
Mm-hmm.
studying and now living full time. And but when it came really to a blog, I
Yeah.
at the beginning, honestly, I've had this blog for quite some time, but it was more like a journal. Honestly, it was just
Mm-hmm.
somewhere where I would put down like my few adventures, trying to tell my stories about whatever I'm going through at the time, always sort of bringing it back to travel, really just
Okay.
tell the story of that young African woman and entrepreneur trying to juggle family life and work life, and incorporating her travels as well, and sort of my love for adventure and all of that. And it's honestly been only the past year or year and a half
Okay.
that I then decided to really take on, I would say, a more serious
Mm,
look into it, and sort of open up a little bit more, because
exactly.
some of my earlier work, it was more all about the travel. I was not really sharing much about what I did for work or
Yeah.
my family even.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, it took me some time to really find my voice and where I want to take
Yeah.
this blog. So with looking around and not seeing a lot of African or even Congolese,
Congolese, yeah, completely.
out there, uh, passionate about, whatever it is that we're going through, building our futures for our families, and as well as, discovering what the world has to
To
offer.
offer. Hmm.
Honestly, I'm just trying to inspire either, keen young travelers, either as a family or solo travels, or
Yeah,
any kind of travels, because I just think travel is education,
exactly.
so what's sort of drove this revamp of my blog.
Okay, yeah, no, very interesting because I've been even able to see it via your Instagram and stuff like you said, you be like, of course, you've always been kind of consistent, but I can see like more sharing and different, like, yeah, different aspect of your lifestyle around traveling. And I'm really enjoying that. So well done. It's like just a joy to yeah, just to follow you on Instagram. And I can definitely see the effort you're bringing into it. Yeah, so what I wanted also to know, because you were mentioning about kind of inspiring, motivating African women to travel. So traveling from Africa, like, okay, here in South Africa, we're kind of lucky, but traveling from a lot of African countries is like, it's hectic. It's expensive. You've got long flights. We don't have low cost options, too many low cost options. The travel routes and the stopovers are always crazy, the visa issues. Do you have any tip on, like, for other African women, not only women, but for people in general based in Africa, how to travel, how to discover the world on a budget, and how do you organize yourself to be able to like walk around all these crazy costs of traveling?
Yeah, I know. I've lived in South Africa for about 19 years, but
Okay.
it's for me, it's a personal choice to have kept my Congolese passport.
Okay. Yeah.
So as much as I am very fortunate to be in South Africa and have that flexibility that comes with visa access and the processes being a lot easier out here, I still experience all the hurdles that comes with,
Exactly.
popping up my Congolese passport when applying for a
Visa
visa,
application.
with very limited, I think it was 14 countries that are visa free to Congolese nationals, which is
Okay.
ridiculous, if you compare
Exactly.
so many other countries. And a lot of them are very sort of random places. You look
Yes.
so it's really it's quite tough. So I do
Mhm.
experience that for like most of my plans. So due to visa restrictions, obviously I have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
The the, um, the longest, honestly, I've planned before for a trip was I think even about 8 months to a year
Okay.
in advance. So I really try to not make any sort of financial movements
Commitment.
within the next like a month, 2 months of my planned trip.
Hmm.
So whatever it is that I try to do, if I can, uh, um, book flights and accommodation at least 3 months in advance, I'm able to save on those expenses, because once
Yeah.
you get into the trimester or especially the month, the costs are just
Crazy.
uh, yes. And another thing that I try to do when it comes to budgeting is to just see what are the accommodation options.
Hmm.
So I juggle a lot between booking.com or Airbnb. I love booking.com options because they do have a lot of hotels and apartments that
Okay.
you can book and then pay later,
Okay.
or arrival. So yeah,
Exactly.
so about, for me, when it comes to budgeting, the most important tip I could give one is to plan it ahead. So
Mm-hmm.
once you, if you are able to book at least, let's say 3 months in advance, you will find that those are like the times where the flights or hotels are at the most affordable rate. Okay, and obviously you have the wider options in terms of choices and dates that you can choose
Exactly.
from. And as you near that, like your departure, say you like within 1 month, then it becomes very expensive. So tip number one would be to book ahead. The second thing for me is to try and travel off season.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a very important one.
And if you're going to you in Europe or in the US trying to travel to South Africa, try
Mm-hmm.
look into spring and like early autumn to
Yeah.
to to make to like plan your trip,
Yeah.
because I mean the weather-wise it's still very pleasant. It's, I mean,
Exactly.
we're still in Africa, so it's not that crazy
Mm-hmm.
cold, but it makes all the difference in terms of finding accommodation and the
Okay.
rates in especially with flights for whatever region you're going to. Try and sort of research what is the off-peak season, what is the weather like, depending on what activities you're planning on doing there, and see what will be the best time for you to go. And yeah, so these are like some of the key elements that I
Yeah.
consider when I think of budgeting. Okay, another last one I would say when it comes to accommodation, I would consider an option like being able to book and pay later.
Okay.
So you have websites like booking.com that offers gives you the some on some hotels or apartments, they give you the option to book and then pay at arrival. So
Yeah,
if
which
you
is
say
much
for
better.
instance you booked 3 months on, you checked, okay, this is within my budget, I have 3 months to pay, so you sort of build up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less of a when it comes to your finances. So it allows you to to make room and whatever you need that you need to take from, and make provision for that
Yeah.
trip or holiday. And when it comes to now airlines, I would say a lot of airlines have at least their international tickets are valid for 2 years,
Oh, yeah.
most of them.
Mm.
Yes, so it means that it doesn't mean that moving dates is free. It simply means that you are able to travel within 2 years of
Okay.
your ticket
Your
being
ticket. Yeah.
valid. If then comes the 2 years expired, obviously you don't want to let it expire. You would then have to pay another a fee to extend the validity of your
Okay.
ticket.
Completely. So now just talking about like we've been like you mentioned COVID, there is also this huge stuff happening in the world right now with the Black Lives Matter, the racism, etc. So I was just wondering, in your travels, have you ever experienced like like a scary or experience, because it's not easy. Like for me, what sometimes keep me off thinking about some destination is like traveling as a Black woman. And
Mhm.
you've been to quite of like different destination, Colombia and stuff. Like have you ever experienced like a scary experience or flat out racism, discrimination, or like a bad experience in any country that, of course, because you were like a Black woman, it wouldn't happen to anyone else?
I'm fortunate not to have experienced like hardcore, like those horrible stories that you get, but
Yeah,
some level of ignorance and so on. That's definitely
it's
actually
yeah.
both within the African continent as well as
Wow.
outside of Africa. And
Mhm.
honestly, for me, I'm quite comfortable in who I am,
Yeah.
and being out in Namibia or wherever, where I mean it is you can find yourself in settings where you are like the only black person, and it is an
Mhm.
African. So you're like, where are my people? So it is worrisome at times. And obviously, my biggest fear, honestly, is um, experiencing such negative travel experiences with my kids.
Yeah.
I, alone, I
You
travel a
wouldn't
lot,
mind. Yeah, you can deal with it, you can manage.
but then my fear is ever, getting into those situations with my family, because that can be, scary, and I just don't know how I'm going to react.
Exactly. No, true.
Some of like the sort of funny or ignorant things that I've had to experience, especially I think once, it was at the Dubai airport. I had like
Okay.
braids with beads and so all sort of like funky stuff on my hair
Exactly.
for my connection flight, and there was like this group of travelers. I think they were on a pilgrimage or of some sort. They were from India, and they literally surrounded me, and they
Oh
were touching
no.
me
Oh no.
and wondering, like they're having like inside conversations, like
That you can't even
among
understand.
on my head. I'm like, what are you
Oh
what are you
wow.
doing? So for me it was very like disrespectful, but that happens
Mhm.
a lot. So you need to sort of step in and tell people
Yeah.
it you have to do that. But because it's strange that for me, I just never in a million years would I just go and touch somebody's
Touch
hair.
someone here. No, completely. Wow.
Never. Like, I will compliment your hair, but if I really
Mm.
feel to do that, I will ask you at the very least.
Exactly.
So I just don't know, but some people just go right ahead, and I
Yeah.
would stop you. And once in Hong Kong, whilst traveling with my family this time, it was
Okay.
my my second son was then about a year and a half,
Okay.
and we at the beach. And you must understand that a lot of travelers within Hong Kong are coming from like mainland China. It
China
was
and stuff. Okay.
it is 2015. I'm sure everybody has seen a black person. Everybody has a black friend, But no, it's actually not true, because a lot of small, countryside within China, a lot of them are not. It's entirely new to them. So, but
Hmm.
for me, again, the approach, so people will come and just take pictures of my
Oh
son
no.
without asking. So that
No,
was
that's,
very
I wouldn't
because
enjoy that.
exactly you hear about all these things around like kidnapping and everything. So
Exactly.
someone just leaning on your son's pram or anything like that, so that is very uncomfortable
Exactly.
and scary. But they would just take a picture and go about their way as if we were just there like for
Oh my
display.
God.
So
Wow.
that for me honestly was very uncomfortable.
Hmm.
But feeling like I don't belong somewhere or anything like that, I've never
Yeah.
experienced that as yet, and I hope I don't.